Manchester City, a team known for its dominance, is showing signs of vulnerability for the first time in nearly a decade. This unexpected shift in their performance from suffocating control to a fading aura has caught many off guard. City currently sit 5th in the Premier League table. Not second, they are not even close contenders. 5th, behind Arsenal, behind Liverpool, behind Newcastle, and yes, behind Nottingham Forest. Only 6 matches are remaining, and rather than fighting for another title, City is scrambling to secure a Champions League place. For the side that just 1 season ago swept the treble, that's a seismic drop. So what's the story behind this unexpected decline? What happened to Manchester City that we knew? This version of City looks nothing like last year's juggernaut. That team suffocated matches into silence. They could play through a low block, tear through a high press, and manage a 1-0 lead like they were freezing time. But this season, it's a stop-start, disjointed, flat, late goals conceded. Points dropped in winnable fixtures, and not just against the Big Six. A 0-0 against United, a 1-0 defeat at Forest, and even a 5-2 win over Palace that required a frantic comeback. These are not the hallmarks of a machine. These are signs of a system sputtering, and the numbers back it up. City has already lost more matches than in the previous 3 league campaigns. Their pressing intensity is down. Their control in the final third is less surgical, and crucially, they're leaking goals. Enough to shift the tone from dominance to doubt. One massive reason? Rodri. The Spanish midfielder has quietly become City's most important player. With him, they tick. Without him, they fracture. Earlier this season, Rodri suffered a serious knee injury, and City collapsed, 3 defeats in 4 without him. The midfield looked lost. Kovacic and Nunes, despite their talents, didn't offer the same blend of calm, positioning, and vertical passing. Bernardo dropped deep, but it felt like a bandage, not a solution. Rodri isn't flashy, but he's irreplaceable. Without him, the midfield lost its anchor, and the defence lost its cover. City looked open and fragile. Teams began to exploit that vulnerability with confidence. The fear was gone. And it's not just Rodri. Other pillars are starting to wobble. Kevin De Bruyne, still brilliant when fit, is battling time as much as defenders. Kyle Walker is no longer the speed demon that could recover everything. Jack Grealish hasn't found his rhythm this season, and Erling Haaland, while still banging in goals, feels increasingly isolated. The link-up play isn't quite clicking. The chances aren't quite as frequent. The magic looks, dare we say it, normal. When the new signings are factored in, the picture gets murkier. Josko Gvardiol, brought in as a potential world-class centre-back, has spent most of the season out of position at left-back. Matheus Nunes still plays like he's unsure if he belongs in a Guardiola system, and Doku, the most exciting of the lot, is unpredictable and erratic. Flash-over function. Depth has been added. Quality? That's still up for debate. Let's talk about the man behind the machine, Pep Guardiola. It's easy to forget how long he's been at Manchester City. Since 2016, he's reshaped English football in his image. This is now his longest stint at any club, longer than his time at Barcelona and Bayern. And until now, every season has brought evolution, progress, another layer to the tactical puzzle. But this season, that evolution has stalled. Last year, we witnessed Pep at his peak, the treble, the seamless switch between shapes mid-match, Haaland's directness integrated without sacrificing control, and a midfield that could morph from a diamond to a box without skipping a beat. Even John Stones stepped into midfield like a regista in disguise. That team was a blueprint, a masterpiece. But brilliance has a cost, and Pep's brilliance may finally be burning out. This season's tweaks feel less revolutionary and more reactionary. They feel less like innovation and more like maintenance. There's no new trick, no new shape, no unexpected reinvention, and it's starting to show. Pep's style has always demanded total buy-in. It's intense, mental, physical, and emotional, and it works until it doesn't. We've seen this cycle before. At Barcelona, the burnout was noticeable by year 4. At Bayern, the players grew restless with the constant tweaking. At City, it's year 8, and while the players still speak highly of him, the performances suggest a tired side. Not disinterested, just exhausted by perfection. Then there's the league itself. While City have slowed, their rivals have accelerated. Arsenal are no longer the plucky underdogs. They've become more structured, ruthless, and defensively sound. Liverpool has reloaded with younger legs and a sharper edge. Both teams are playing more vertically, more aggressively, and more instinctively. And it's working. More importantly, they believe. That's a crucial shift. In years past, teams would turn up to the Etihad hoping not to be embarrassed. Now, they come to play, and that belief is the first crack in the wall. Once the mystique fades, the rest follows. This change in the atmosphere is reflected in the fan sentiment too. Among City supporters, there's still admiration. How could there not be? This is the greatest manager the club has ever had. But you can sense the shift. The questions are growing louder. Is this the end of the cycle? Is it time to refresh the squad? Or the dugout? And among rival fans? Let's just say they're enjoying this. Many have blamed Guardiola for what they see as the over-intellectualization of English football, the death of the counter-attack, the end of fast, open play. Pep's methodical build-up and insistence on control at all costs have drawn criticism. Tactical tedium, some call it. It's a harsh assessment. But in the eyes of many, City's dominance hasn't just been dull, it's been suffocating. So for some neutrals, the decline isn't a tragedy, it's a liberation. But make no mistake, Pep Guardiola is still one of the greatest minds ever to manage a football club. And City, even in transition, is still capable of brilliance. The question is no longer about capability. It's about consistency, about energy, about belief. So what happens next? Let's imagine what Manchester City might look like after Pep. It's not a far-fetched thought. He's hinted more than once that his time in England could be nearing its end. And after the treble, after rewriting the record books, what's really left to prove? But his departure wouldn't just be the end of an era for City, it would be a seismic shift for English football. At City, Guardiola is more than a manager. He's the architect of the club's identity. Everything filters through his tactical lens from the academy to the first team. Every player is profiled for the system. Every touch rehearsed. Every phase is orchestrated. Remove that central intelligence, and what happens? Does the next manager try to emulate the blueprint, keeping the structure intact, or does he rip it all up and start fresh? Let's be honest, finding another Guardiola isn't just difficult, it's impossible. That makes the next steps crucial. Does the club transition slowly, integrating a new philosophy over time? Or does it risk falling into the trap that so many dominant clubs fall into, chasing continuity and ending up in limbo? We've seen it before. After Wenger, Arsenal lost their identity. After Ferguson, United drifted for a decade. Dynasties collapse, not in explosions, but in quiet missteps. City's advantage is infrastructure, a well-run board, a defined philosophy. But football isn't built in boardrooms, but on the pitch. And when the man at the centre leaves, that stability will be tested in ways we haven't seen yet. There's also the question of motivation. So many of these players were built in Pep's image. Their careers peaked under him. Without him, will they remain as sharp, as committed? Or will we see what often follows success? A slow fade, rather than a hard fall. De Bruyne, Walker, Silva, even Rodri, now entering the final stages of their peak years. Replacing them won't be about talent alone, it'll be about identity, culture, mentality. And that's where this season matters more than just the table. City's struggles are a warning, not just that dominance is fragile, but that even the best systems age, the most brilliant ideas lose their edge, and even the greatest managers run out of time. But perhaps there's beauty in that. Football is about eras, and this one, the Guardiola era at Manchester City, has been one of the greatest. It was a time of control, innovation, and near perfection. But if this is the end, or the beginning of it, then we should treat it with the respect it deserves, not with panic, but with perspective. This might be the season the dynasty slips, the spell breaks, the fear fades, But it's also the season the rest of the league rises. Arsenal evolve. Liverpool reload. And English football feels unpredictable again. So what do you think? Are we witnessing a brief wobble or the slow collapse of a once untouchable empire? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe to Futuna